Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer as we continue episode 68 of our Hashtag United series in Football Manager 2019. Probably looking at like the last, maybe second last episode. I mean, definitely the second last episode. We'll come back and do one regardless of what happens here. But we do have our Champions League semi-final first leg and second leg in this episode against Tottenham. We are currently 3 points clear at the top of the league. Since we last played and had those games against Real Madrid, we beat West Ham comfortably 2-0. I rotated quite a bit against Burnley to try and get everyone's form and fitness up and focus towards the Champions League semi-final tie, and we lost 1-0, which is the first loss we've had in quite a while, particularly in the league, and kind of disappointing. So it does mean that Tottenham have caught back up an additional 3 points and 2 games remaining in the season for us to secure the title. We are still 3 points clear. A win potentially in this episode against Manchester City could get us that, but Tottenham are also playing a pretty straightforward game against Bournemouth, so I dare say they're going to win that, and it's going to come all the way to the final game of the season, which we'll probably do in the next episode. But this is the part that we need to be focused on, the FA Cup. I don't know why I butchered that. Tottenham do have an FA Cup game, but we are out. The Champions League semi-final. This is the lineup that we're going with, our 4-4-2 Hashtag United shape. Lukaku in goal, Digby and Brad Brook as our central defensive partnership. Berger and Tortelli on the wings as the wing-backs. Carter will play on the left wing, Navarro on the right, Kwakwa and Kanovic in the middle, Van Dam and Nen up top. Carter is really the only player that wouldn't really start if our first choice 11 was available. Paul Howe's still injured, but he's an outside chance to make it for the second leg of this game away at New White Hart Lane. They're playing a 4-2-3-1. We are quite familiar with this team. Ondo is a player I don't think we've looked at before. Ondo. They picked him up during the most recent off-season from Celta Vigo. Absolutely phenomenal central defensive player. Phenomenal ball-playing defender, 23-year-old Spanish international with a good few caps to his name. Vernon, we've played against a bunch of different times, leading striker. He plays on the right wing in their current system. Has been an England international for really the last 6 or 7 years, is fantastic. And Andres Williams is probably the beast up top that we need to be most wary of. He's scored against us consistently. He's consistently amongst the leading scorers in the division and the best players in the highest average match rating and whatever else. So they've definitely got some decent talent that we're going to have to be wary of. We have beaten them once before this season. We now need to do it over 2 legs, and we're passionately going to tell everyone. Media have given you a lot of credit. Let's go on and do that. We're still underdog in all of our matches because our club reputations are still only sitting around 3.5, 4 stars. If we win the Premier League, I hope it improves quite a bit. If we win the Champions League, I hope it improves massively. But again, we're not going to see it because we'll have moved on to FM20. They've got a first short corner here. A good tackle from Navarro. We've got a 2v2 if this works out our way. Nen comes forward, squares it to Van Dam. He's just got to find the finish. Excellent finish from Kenneth Van Dam. 23rd goal of the season. Phenomenal, quick, efficient counter-attacking football. Let's check it out in 3 dimensions because I think Nen's turn, Navarro just hacks it clear. But how Nen manages to bring this under and go around the man and then smart enough just to play it into space, gets his head up, and it's a good finish from Van Dam. He sets himself straight down the middle, smashes it to the side of the keeper. Miramontes in the Tottenham goal, couldn't do too much about that. And within 10 minutes, we've gone a goal ahead and have a lead to defend. Kwakwa with a free kick now, edge of the area. We've rested him the last 2 games to try and get his fitness back up for this fixture, so we need a massive performance from him. Tortelli with a throw in now, finds Navarro. Forward to Tortelli, who wins the tackle and comes forward. Played inside to Nen. Can he find the finish? It's a good strike, but it hits side netting. Miramontes actually with an excellent save gives us a corner. Carter to take the short corner now. Played to Navarro. Good cross towards Nen at the front post, and Miramontes again does very well. Good reaction save to get it over the crossbar. Working the good routine here. Navarro to cross, and he crosses it straight in the defender. That happens really frequently. I quite like this short corner setup, but just so often they clear it straight into the defender, and it leads to nothing. Durrett now with a deep free kick, played forward to Vernon. To Vinas now. This is the concern when they get that ball in behind, but Berger should tidy up pretty easily. It goes all the way back to Lukaku. Played forward to Digby now, into Arkanovic. Reverse pass to Van Dam. Back to Berger. Through Digby again, Kwakwa to Arkanovic. We're moving the ball quite well. Switch out now to Navarro, who's 1v1, steps inside, finds Van Dam at the top of the box. It's an excellent save again from Miramontes, who is keeping Tottenham in it at this stage. Carter's going to take the short corner, finds Navarro. Deep one across, Digby's in the area, but it's pretty much straight at the goalie. We're doing very, very well. I'm going to tell everyone to get creative. If we can get a second goal here before half-time, we're effectively killing off the first leg of this fixture. Statistically dominant so far. They have had more of the ball, but that's just the way that they're set up and play. Navarro now, short one to Carter. Deep one across towards Akanovic. He gets his header across and it hits the crossbar before going out for a goal kick. All right, we're through half-time now. 11 shots, 7 on target, 47% of the ball. They've had 1 shot, none on target, and 53% possession. But most importantly, we're a goal to the good. Assertively, we're going to tell everyone, don't get complacent out there. I don't use that one that often, but we can't lose our focus. We need to try and take an advantage into the away leg because they will be very good in their home stadium. Paz now with a deep free kick. Tortelli should header it away. Carter loses out on the follow-up header. Vernon with a good strike from a weird angle. Lukungu, I think it hit everything there. Crossbar, post, Lukungu, whatever else, but we managed to keep it out. They've definitely come out with a bit of fire since half-time. Deep ball across, Tortelli should head away. They've given away a penalty. Juan Carlos Navarro has shoved Andres Williams. Williams was nowhere near it. He was hanging out the back. It's going to be Vernon to take. We might need to switch to cautious for a little bit. It's a good penalty. Given away a lot of penalties this season. 23rd goal of the season for Sean Vernon. And an excellent finish. We'll check it out in 3 dimensions. It was close to Lukungu, but I think he went the wrong way. No, he went the right way. I don't know how that works, that you can throw your legs backwards, but they have found the equaliser, albeit against the run of play from the first half. All right, 3 subs, 62 minutes gone. We're going to switch back to our positive structure. I'm going to bring on Sosa for Nen, who's struggling a little bit, Colbass for Kwakwa, who's not playing well at all, and Holden for Navarro, who hasn't had a good game, but some of that might just be because he gave away the penalty passionately. We have faith in them. They've all responded positively, and we're also going to go back to our old faithful, get creative. They've recovered the ball in midfield. Oh, we sent Vinus straight off, a red card, a straight red. They've taken off their number 10 and brought on a winger, so they're going to change the shape. It's an excellent free kick from Akanovic. He won the foul for the red card, and he smashed that one in from 30 yards. It crashes in off the crossbar. Let's check that out in 3 dimensions. It's his birthday, apparently, so he'll be 20 now. Akanovic, great strike. Miramontes maybe got a hand to it to push it onto the crossbar, but just the power and the pace was too much for him to keep it out. All right, we need to turn the screws here and try and get a couple extra goals. Forward to Van Dam from the throw-in, back to Berger, the throw-in taker. Colbass at the top of the box, can he find the strike? It's not a bad effort, hits the post and Ondo scrambles it away. 10 minutes remaining, we're going to demand more. We really need to try and find an extra goal. We've got a man advantage. We're at home. Iglesias now with the throw-in. Finds Williams, back to Iglesias again. Fastballed, good tackle from Holden, but it falls to Iglesias. Goebbels at the top of the box. Ondo, forward to Vernon, the goal scorer, and thankfully Lukungu does very well to dive to his left and hold. We got a counter-attack on here. We've got 4 forward very quickly. There's a 4v3 if we can release a long ball forward. Need Lukungu to do it now. He's played it towards Sosa. Doesn't win the header. Comes to Fastballed. Ball forward towards Williams. Just stand him up. Don't do anything silly. Deflected cross goes to Bradbrook. Colbass with long ball forward towards Van Dam. But we're struggling to get a string of passes to get the ball out. Berger's recovered in a good area now. Carter comes forward. He's got a man square if he can find him. Deep ball across towards Van Dam. He lays it off for Sosa, and Sosa with an excellent strike to get us that 3-1 advantage that we've been looking for. 15th goal of the season for him. One of those weird ones in the 2D match, or the 2D engine as you look at it, where it picks up pace once it hits the goalkeeper. And it might have just been that he got a hold of it and had too much power. Miramontes has had an excellent game. Van Dam pinballs it around, and yeah, it's straight at the goalkeeper. And Miramontes' punch can only go into the side netting. But I'll take it. I'll take any goal I can get. If we could try and get one more, that'd be great, lads. 4 minutes to be added on. We're through 5 minutes now, so I dare say, and he does, the referee has called full time. If you had said to me before the game, you're going to win 3-1, I'd have taken it. So 17 shots, 11 on target, 49% possession. They had 11-4 and 51. Considering how poor their first half was, that was definitely a good second half performance for them. Passionately, let's say, a very nice victory. Well done, and we'll go from there. Hashtag United cruise to a 3-1 victory. Akanovic gets the Man of the Match award. He's been excellent in the last 2 episodes. Post-match press conference, let's quickly go through it. I wouldn't say shocked. We beat him quite a bit. Great start. Akanovic is an outstanding footballer. He's 21 now, sorry, not 20. Let's praise his performance and say he was superb. And as he turns 21, he can't be a wonder kid anymore, so he's made that transition to world-class midfielder, which is good for him. Now, magic of editing, I think we're going to jump past the game against Manchester City. There's potential if Bournemouth beat Tottenham and we beat Man City, we might win the league, but in reality, I think it's going to go through to the last game of the season. So magic of editing, we'll jump forward to the second leg against Tottenham now. Alright, disaster has struck. Not this part. We're going back into our stadium, which is fantastic. We will play our last Premier League match of the season at home in the new stadium, so we'll go and check that out once we're there. Not the new stadium, but the expanded stadium. We just lost to Manchester City. Incredibly frustrating. We went a goal up early on. They got 2 back, and we went in 2-1 down at half-time. I pulled out the hairdryer. We were doing quite well, putting them under pressure. Michael Shute scored a goal from miles out, and Seagrass pulled one back in the 90th minute, but that still wasn't enough. It does mean that Tottenham have leapfrogged us into top spot going into the last game of the season. They've got +5 goal difference on us. because they smashed Bournemouth. So we're both locked on 87 points. We're playing Everton the last day of the season. They are playing Wolves, who are all the way down here in 15th. So if there's ever a time to be a Wolves fan, it's now. The only revenge I can think of is to now beat the living piss out of them in this semi-final second leg and knock them out of the Champions League for another season. So let's go and have a look at the lineups for that game now. Alright, just like that, we're a couple of days ahead. In the other fixture, PSG are currently ahead in their tie against Arsenal, so it does look like we'll be playing the Paris side if they can get through their match today. Alright, and away we go. I forgot to go through the lineups. We're pretty much going for an unchanged lineup. The only change is that we're going to try and risk Paul Howe. He's not 100% fit, but if we can get 45 minutes out of him and go into the halftime break with a goal, I think it puts us in a good position to get through to the next round. Not going to try and get 90 minutes out of him by any stretch. That's why Paul Carter is on the bench. Joe Carter. Paul Howe is the other guy's name. But they've got a deep free kick here. Pass to take. Ondo with a good header, but it's just past the far post. Looks like Navarro's picked up a knock as well. We do have Adi Holden on the bench also. Goossens now with the ball. Played forward to Williams. Forward to Vernon. Switch out now to Iglesias, the fullback. Cross is cut down well. Navarro now. Can he release down the line for Nen? Does now. Goossens does very well to recover. They go all the way back to Miramontes in goal. Crossfield switch should be won by Berger. He's not challenged, but the header is poor. Robledo back to Tanaskovic, who is a phenomenal fullback. Fazbold comes across to Iglesias. They're keeping the ball very well. Still managed by Zinedine Zidane. There hasn't been any change from earlier this season. Antonsen forward to Paz. Out to Tanaskovic, who's made a good overlapping run. Gets the ball across to Williams, and thankfully the header is poor. We're going to switch back to our cautious mentality, and we're going to demand more for the last 15 minutes. Antonsen with a good header, and somehow we managed to keep that one out. They are definitely coming after a little bit, so we're just going to drop our line back a little bit deeper, ride out this little storm, and regroup at half-time. Quackwa with a deep free kick towards Van Damme, who gets his header away. Vernon scrambles it. Fastbold should recover. Kanovic wins the ball in the box, and it goes out for a corner. Just a bit of pinball wizardry in the box there, just couldn't poke it home. Quackwa going to take the corner, should go the short one to Navarro. Best crosser we've got, gets a deep one in, but it's not really near anyone. Ikanovic can get a ball back across. Iglesias heads away, only as far as Bradbrook. And the referee, not the referee, why do I always say that? The highlight comes to an end. Alright, so we get through to half-time. 13 shots, 6 on target, 52% of the ball for Tottenham, 5-2 and 48% for us. We are going to passionately say, we're well done. We're still leading on aggregate. Make sure that's the case at full time. Everyone's responded positively. We're going to leave ourselves on cautious for at least the next 15 minutes. And then we're going to have a look at subs. We know we're probably going to have to change both the wingers, and it doesn't look like the forwards are having much luck against the defensive line either. Alright, we're going to make those subs now. So Adi Holden will come on for Navarro, Carter will come on for Howe, and Sosa's going to come on for Van Damme up top. We're also going to switch back to our positive structure, because they'll start chasing the game a bit more, and we're going to get creative as well. We've immediately got a highlight here, short corner. Balls with Holden, finds Quackwa at the top of the box. Back to Holden now, into Sosa, and Miramontes does very well to get to the header and hold. Alright, they're definitely having the best of it from a statistical perspective, but we're into the last 10 minutes and time is definitely on our side. Assertively, we're just going to demand more. A few people look focused and motivated. There's a couple of pressured there. Rekoff with a deep corner across. Ondo's pulled one back, but he should be offside based on how we set up from our corner routines. And he is, so we are now into additional time. 3 minutes to be added on. This should hopefully be the last throw in. Kanovic plays back to Berger. Berger square to Akanovic again. We're giving it away in a bad area, but thankfully the referee calls full time. It's a 0-0 draw. It's a boring game. Probably shit content for you guys, but I'll take the win and I will take our first Champions League final appearance. 24 shots, 9 on target, 47% possession for Tottenham. We had 14, 8 and 53%. Very few highlights for either side. Passionately, congratulations lads. You've dreamt of playing in the final and now it's happening. They all have responded positively, and we'll go and double check who we're going to be playing in that final as well. First leg triumph helps hashtag United pass Tottenham. It definitely did. Miramontes got the man of the match award in that game, so we must have done okay. And we'll be playing PSG, it looks like, in the final. Oh, they're saying they're doing it on the 3rd of May, so I guess it's about to happen. But I think we should be playing PSG. Delighted for the fans, very pleased with the result. Brilliant feeling to get through. And we kept Akinovic out there. He's been in good form, so his match rating doesn't really matter that much to me. 10.77 million for winning in the Champions League semi-final. And we are well and truly ahead of where we thought we'd be getting through to the final itself. Hashtag United play PSG in the final in NSC Olimpiyskiy Stadium, which is in Ukraine. and they've warned us about Lenny Boyer, who's the top scorer in the Champions League this season. But that pretty much does take us through to the next episode, episode 69, which is a hilarious coincidence, where we will play our last game of the season against Everton, where we will be hoping that Wolves can either get a draw or a win against Tottenham so that we can win the league, and our Champions League final against PSG. Really, what more could you want for a final episode? More than anything though, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that means the most to me. Feel free to throw a like on this video if you're enjoying the series so far, or to help celebrate our second last episode. You can subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on future videos as they continue to be released, or alternatively, you can follow _FM to be kept up to date to all of our content, all our interactions with the community and that sort of thing. But as always, I've been Sean, this has been In The Mixer, and don't you ever forget to hashtag it.